Hello, and welcome to the Chamber's Annual Awards Night. My name is Debbie Hubbard, and I am the Chair of the Board of Directors for the Cortland County Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the Board and the staff of the Chamber, I'd like to welcome you all here tonight to our annual awards presentations. It's a pleasure to have you here. I need to quickly handle a bit of business. This is considered a board meeting. To those board members who are present, I officially call this meeting to order. Thank you. Tonight's theme is an evening with Dan McNeal. Throughout the evening, you'll hear about the Chamber and our members and how we're all striving to succeed, but we'll also hear from one very special member and individual, Dan McNeal. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss it, and our appreciation goes to Dan for spending the time with us. I'd also like to thank our generous sponsors tonight, because without them, this wouldn't have been the success it is. Thank you to our title sponsor, Guthrie Cortland Medical Center, and our event sponsors, Cayuga Medical Center, Tompkins Trust Company, CFCU Community Credit Union, Molina Health Insurance, Cortland Hearing Aids, Visions Federal Credit Union, and Luke Cyril's Plumbing. I'd also like to recognize our current board members, Patrick Woods of Cooper Woods, Val Van Gorder of Bailey Place Insurance, Suzette Pace of Cortland Hearing Aids, Wesley Krieger of Greek Peak Mountain Resort, Nicole Catone of CFCU, Bob Apps from PNC Fresh, Renee Niederman of Bevan Company, Lindy Glennon of Capco, Tom Turk of Homer Central Schools, Steve Weinberg of Bernard's Custom Logo, Jamie Yeaman of Yeaman Real Estate, Jen Yardam of Guthrie Cortland Medical Center, Amy Thomas of Cayuga Medical Center, Rick Osborne of Osborne Flooring, Mike McMahon of McMahon's Easy Acres, and myself from Port Cashton and McSherry. We have 3 board members who are retiring from the board after serving 6 years, Wes Krieger, Bob Apps, and Renee Niederman. We wish to thank them for their service, and a plaque will be delivered to them at their business. As a result of our recent election, 4 new board members will be seated at our December board meeting. Please welcome these 4 to the board. Ben Oakes of Bestway Enterprises, Kevin Thompson of Marathon Boat Group, Danielle Brown of Square Deal Machining, and Lainey Caruso of Hobo's 281 Bar and Grill. Finally, I'd like to thank Bob Haight, Debbie Thayer, Nikki Davey, and Jennifer Remenick for the hard work they put into this evening, as well as the rest of this year. This pandemic was challenging for everyone, and they took it on with the same go-get-'em attitude that they do for every other event they put on. Thank you for all you have done, not just for this event, but for everything this year. And finally, I'd like to thank you, the members, because without you, we would not be here to enjoy this evening. Once again, thank you for coming. We hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, and now I'd like to turn the podium over to President and CEO Bob Haight.
Thank you, Deb, and thank you to our entire board of directors. It makes us proud to work with such a great group that gives us the ability and the freedom to carry out all the programs that we do for all of our members. They represent facets of industry and business all across our region, and they do a wonderful job representing you as the members. I also want to do a special thank you for all of our sponsors this evening. This would not have been possible without them and their support. And all of these sponsors decided to stay with us through this virtual event. We couldn't be more pleased that they did that. In fact, I would say when I spoke to each of them individually, not only did they want to remain supportive, but there was some relief too, knowing what was happening locally, the fact that we had decided to make this a 100% virtual event this evening. Our title sponsor, Guthrie Cortland Medical Center, how wonderful they've been to us, sponsoring and supporting us in many ways for many years. Jen Yardam and her entire team have been great to us. Our event sponsors this evening, Cayuga Medical Center. I think they may have been our longest longest standing sponsor. So we've appreciated their support also for many years. Tompkins Trust Company, our dessert sponsor. I hope you're enjoying a fine dessert as you're here with us this evening, and I'm pretty sure that Greg Hartz and his team are enjoying a fine dessert also. CFCU Community Credit Union, their generosity is unmatched locally, what they do for us. Molina Healthcare, sponsoring our nonprofit sponsor. They wanted to do something special for all of those nonprofits, those organizations who are doing so much for our community during all of this time. We appreciate that. Visions Federal Credit Union, our newest sponsor, who is very much looking forward to serving the members that they already have in our Cortland area and region. Cortland Hearing Aids, providing the most wonderful service and products to the Cortland area, but also throughout the southern tier. Thank you, Suzette Pace and her team for being with us and supporting us. And lastly, Luke Searles Plumbing, our toilet sponsor for this evening. So during, after, before the event, when you're in using your own toilet, we want you to think about owners Brian and Erica Dean and their relatively new, still key employee Ryan Hans. They'll be there when you need them, our toilet sponsor. But thanks to all of those sponsors. An evening with Dan McNeal, our theme for tonight. It was such a thrill for me when Dan agreed to be part of this evening program, and I know you're going to enjoy it as much as I will watching what he has to say to us. Stay tuned. You'll be hearing from Dan very soon. Now, I want to take a little bit of time and talk about this last year and what it has meant for all of us. We as a chamber pride ourselves on achieving our goals, and we do that in conjunction with you, our members, and with a strategic plan committee and our board. I stood here last year and told you how we had blown away the goals that were set for us by our strategic plan committee, and as a result of that, the Business Council of New York State had recognized us as the Chamber of the Year for 2019. While that's a lot to live up to, it's also a challenge that we look forward to. We created a new strategic plan to take us to 2022. We hit the ground running with that plan, and then you know what happened. You were shut down or doing business as you never had before, and we were with you. We need all of our local businesses up and running, and so we worked tirelessly, our team, to help any business. We instructed all of the chamber team, do not talk about membership, help businesses that need help, because that, in the end, will benefit our entire community. Well, Debbie Thayer, Nikki Davey, Jennifer Reminick, all did that. They responded. Phone calls, emails, Zoom meetings, in-person meetings when it had to be, and an occasional in-person meeting. We, of course, all did that to keep everyone safe. We were often working well into the night, and what I saw was that you were doing that too. I can't tell you how many evenings it would be beyond 11 o'clock, and I would be emailing information to members, receiving emails back. So you were there as we were there, tirelessly working to do the best you could for your businesses while maintaining safety. But I will tell you, what impressed me the most was the response that I got from members. Of course, they wanted to do as much business, keep revenue flowing as much as possible. But what I continued to see was their concern for customers and for employees. And that, I think, was part of what drove us to continue to do what we did in order to keep you with the most information that was possible. The one evening that stands out the most to me, it was a Thursday evening, and we were about to open up for phase 3 on Friday morning. And word came out that the governor had made an announcement Thursday afternoon that he was considering delaying the opening. Oh my goodness, we had every business for phase 3 who was ready to be open, plans in place when we got that word. So, what did we do? We didn't rest, of course. Emails, phone calls, Albany, county office building until we finally got confirmation that we could, in fact, open Phase 3 as planned. And then we got that word out to all those businesses that were affected by that. Thank you for all of you for being patient with us, and thank you for the Chamber team for being there when our members needed you. When we opened, I want to say how wonderful it's been also to be part of this community during all of this. I already mentioned our members and how their big concern was for employees and for customers. And I just want to say that as we did this, knowing what we were doing for our local community, for our members, and of course we know you personally, we want to say how fulfilling that has been to all of us. So thank you to all of our local businesses for their concern, for their caring, and their willingness to be safe as they were trying to be as productive as possible. With our backs against the wall, I was so glad that we could be part of this community. When we opened nominations for this year's awards, we were hoping that we would hear about some of the great things that were done during this pandemic. And I will say our nominations did not disappoint in that regard. And now, on to the awards. Just listen to all the great things being done by these winners. Small Business of the Year. Homegrown businesses, I've said this before, I'll say it many times, we love them. We are the Chamber of Commerce. Of course, we love homegrown businesses. It's what we live for. It's what we strive for, growing your local business. This small business has the experience we need, the attitude for customer service, and a willingness to give back to their community. And it seems tirelessly giving back. The owner gained valuable experience in a large national chain, but knew he could do better serving local customers. While the chains have a place and can be valuable, he recognized where they were lacking and set out to change that. In 2014, he ventured out on his own, faced multiple challenges, hit them head on, and kept going. He has now moved his business to 3 different locations. His employees and customers have moved with him. He's continued to grow, hire employees, and has a home now in a highly recognized high-traffic location where he's doing very well. While they have grown, they have not lost sight for the reasons why they started this business to begin with. They still care for their customers, and the owner actively participates in the day-to-day operations working on the shop floor. Their nominator said he wants customers, visitors, and the community to feel like they are family. He wants you to feel taken care of, not taken advantage of. In addition to caring for customers, his philosophy of the community feeling like family isn't simply a statement on the wall or words on a business card. It's a philosophy backed up by his actions. That's why the owner volunteers his time to youth programs and has been the driving force behind his starting the Thanksgiving turkey giveaway for the Cortland area. Last year, with the help of supporting individuals and businesses, they organized the giveaway of over 200 turkeys to local families. He's hoping for an even bigger response this year. When receiving the award, he was quick to remind me there is still time to participate. You'll hear more about that in just a minute. I hope now when you hear the winner, you'll recognize the great accomplishments that have already been done, but trust me, he won't stop. With the help of his strong family, his wife, his team at the shop, and hopefully you too, his efforts will continue to grow. Please join me in celebrating with our 2020 Chamber of Commerce Small Business of the Year, Jack's Service Center. Owner Sean Smith will accept the award. Congratulations, Sean.
I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for the Small Business Award that been given to this year. It's been a trying year. It's been a long year. 2020 has not been good for everybody. I want to thank my wonderful wife for standing by my side for a long time through this year. I want to thank my customers. they're probably the most important people because they have stuck by my side for 3 moves and they're still coming to see me. So I want to thank them more than anything. They've been loyal to me and I appreciate that very much. I want to thank the opportunity to give Sun Auto an opportunity. I want to say thank you to them for giving me a chance in this wonderful, beautiful building that we have here. I want to thank my employees because they're more family to me than employees, and without them, I won't be here. I wouldn't be here, and they have stuck to me to 3 moves as well. So I want to appreciate them very much, and appreciate them no matter what I ask. They may get mad, but they'll get it done, and I appreciate you guys very much for helping me out and helping my family out in this big move. Hopefully going forward, Jack Service Center could grow. I'm hoping we grow. If we can, that'd be awesome. But most of all, I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for recognizing that Jack Service Center is a company that is doing something good in the community. I do want to say that I'm not trying to promote anything, but we are giving away free turkeys. So any help or any hand that could be done to help us out, that'd be appreciated. This is second annual one. I'm hoping to get it bigger, so hopefully one day in Cortland, nobody has to buy a turkey. I know that's asking a lot, but you never know 10 or 15 years from now what may happen. So thank you guys, and I appreciate it very much.
Great to hear from you, Sean. And now on to the large business of the year. We're the Chamber of Commerce, and of course, you know we love homegrown businesses. We've talked about that. When they grow to the point that we can honor them as the large business of the year, it makes us even more proud. This business started as a 1-room machine shop in the south end of the county. When the current owner purchased the company in 1998, they had 5 employees. Through his vision, they now occupy more than 300,000 square feet of shop space and have employed up to 170 people. When you tour the facility, they're quick to introduce employees and talk about what they're doing. Their investment in our community has been tremendous, and they could have expanded anywhere. They chose to do it here with us. They have spent millions of dollars on equipment to make their workforce more efficient and to keep them on the cutting edge. As I said, they could have gone anywhere and had the opportunities. We all have benefited by the fact that they decided to do that here. They're proud to be a full-service machining company offering their customers machining, welding, fabrication, assembly, and everything in between. They strive to have their employees not only have a safe work environment, but to have a position that they enjoy coming to every day. When you talk to the owner and managers, it's not just the growth of the company they're proud of, but you can see it's the growth of their own employees that they take the most pride in. They employ engineers, managers, technician, and setup personnel who have all started with their company at entry-level positions. Their willingness to invest in employees makes them a desired place here in the county to work and to grow. As stated by their CEO, one of the most important things to me is the development of our employees. A quote from their Facebook page, "We pride ourselves on precision, and that's why we combine the hardworking people we employ with the best technology available." I recall a conversation there when we were setting up our manufacturing day a few years ago. I had told the owner that I had just spoken to a high school superintendent who told me he had a young man who was a pretty good welder who was looking for an opportunity after school. The owner, Joe, looked me square in the eye and said, "Bob, hook me up." There was a slight hesitation, and then he reiterated, "Bob, hook me up now." Well, I did that. I got them in touch with that local high school, and I know they have maintained that connection along with other high school connections and are even sponsoring a scholarship at their local high school. They're quick to think local and act local. Take care of your employees, take care of your customers. The rest takes care of itself. That's me talking, not them, but it's a feeling I get whenever I'm in their facility. I'm very happy to announce our large business of the year for 2020 goes to Square Deal Machining of Marathon. Here is owner and CEO Joe Morgan to accept the award. Congratulations, Joe.
On behalf of Square Deal Machining and all of our dedicated team members, we'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for recognizing us and our dedicated workforce. We will continue to support and grow in Cortland County. We'd like to thank the Cortland County and the village and town of Marathon for their continued support and all of the resources and help they've given us through the years.
Wonderful to hear from you, Joe. And now, on to our Heritage Award. This award is intended for a business or organization with a long-standing history in our community. Often multiple generations have participated, and in a minute you'll see why multiple generations also stands out here. This year's winner is exceptionally qualified. When I think about them, what comes to mind are some of these terms: family, children, high quality, integrity, caring for the community, and producing so many quality traits in what they put out. I hope now you're a little bit curious. 90 years. 90 years. Sounds like a great case for a Heritage Award to me. This business could have been honored with a Heritage Award, a Small Business Award, or their owner could have been nominated for a Community Service Award. In short, they stand out in many, many categories. The owner is synonymous with the business, which of course happens in many of our small businesses. But in this case, you see his personality, his drive, his eagerness to serve our community when you visit that business. COVID had a huge impact on their revenue, but instead of lying in wait for things to get better, they decided to take it upon themselves to see where they could improve the business while shut down. Let's look at our space, decide where we can improve, and go for it. When they open back up, which will be very soon, they want to ensure that they're doing so in a safe manner. And I don't mean just cleaning in between customers, thoroughly cleaning at night. I mean when a customer walks in the door, they want that customer to see that it's a safe environment. Let's be sure we're serving in such a way that they not only feel safe and secure when they visit us, but they'll share that with their friends too. This is a place to go. The business has been a staple in Cortland since 1930. I keep talking about that, but 1930. That means if your family is from Cortland, your great-grandparents probably knew about this business and visited there. The current family took ownership in 1963, and then it passed from father to son in 2000. To see it now is a joy. The owner has worked hard to maintain the very, very rich history while updating and keeping the place up with the times. The restaurant has a wonderful customer base that is often the huge who's who of our region, with business owners, heads of nonprofits, community leaders, students with families, probably you, and certainly me. I've often joked I could hold office hours there because every time I stop in for a meal, there are so many of our members that I have a chance to visit with, each enjoying breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and the excellent service and food that's provided. Let me tell you a little more about their community service. They were planning a huge celebration for their 90th year, been planning this for a while. And then you know what happened, COVID hit. Now, how do we celebrate, involve the community, make a splash, make an impact? Here's what they came up with. What if we served 100% takeout meals to the community and then donated the proceeds to a nonprofit who could really use it? Many nonprofits were in need, as you know, and how do you choose one? Well, they chose a local neighboring nonprofit who serves food to our community in loaves and fishes. How wonderful this was. The initial plan was to serve 500 meals, but the day that I picked up my personal tickets, I noticed the number on them were both over 1,000. When I inquired Why over 1,000 on the tickets when you're cutting it off at 500? The answer was simple. We had such a tremendous stop. We knew a tremendous response. We knew that we couldn't stop. So they didn't. Last count, over 1,200 meals were served that day. And remember, Loaves and Fishes got all the proceeds. Now, I didn't say they got the profit. I didn't say they got the proceeds above food costs. What I said was Loaves and Fishes got 100% of those proceeds. By now, many of you had the dinner that day, and you recognize the winner of our 2020 Heritage Award is the Community Restaurant, and how much fun it was to be able to write about them. Owner Evan Souza is now with us to accept the award. Congratulations, Evan.
First, we would like to thank everybody that nominated us for this award. Of course, the Chamber of Commerce for all their hard work that they do for our community. In this year that we are celebrating our 90th anniversary, we would like to express a special thank you to all our local customers that have made this a success for me and my family for 90 years to be in downtown Cortland serving our local community. We thank you very much, and we are honored to receive this award. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. We're all looking forward to November 30th when the restaurant will once again be safely open and we can see the new enhancements that you and your team have made. Now, on to our nonprofit of the year. When COVID hit, it hit all of us. Business shut down by executive order, people asked to stay home, only go out if necessary, unless, of course, you're deemed essential. Then you could perform your services, but of course, follow all the new rules and regulations. And by the way, we don't have all of them written yet, but we're working on it. That's what we often heard from the state when we advocated on behalf of our members and other local businesses. Now, let's take it a step further. If you're a restaurant, they say you're essential, but you can't be open for dining, and there's new rules for your customers, your employees, your supply vendors, your delivery drivers. How do you navigate all of these rules? And by the way, while still trying to run your business? Oh yeah, don't forget when we shut down, not all of them were written, these rules, but of course you have to follow them. Sound confusing? Imagine how confusing that can be if you're expected to answer all of those questions from employees, their families, and customers, vendors, again, while running your business. Wow, mind-boggling. Our chamber took questions like these from every business categories we have, and while we worked to get these answers, the answers were different for different business categories. If you were an office, a manufacturer, or a retail, or a restaurant, these were all different answers. One piece of mind came to us from our Cortland County Restaurant and Tavern Association. Their director, Tammy Timmerman, stepped up in a huge way during this time. She was ultra focused on the restaurants, what they could and couldn't do, and how to go about their business and do it safely. I guarantee there are people in Albany who know her name and probably her voice. She continued to advocate for our restaurants to be sure they could serve in that safe manner and follow all regulations, whether they were written yet or whether we were simply looking at the spirit of those regulations that were currently being worked on. Why is this so important? Why do we want our restaurants running? Why was Tammy Timmerman doing all of this at all hours of the day? Actually, it's fairly simple. First, we wanted to keep our economy moving in any way that we could safely do so. The state said we could keep on with delivery and takeout, so of course we wanted to. We wanted to keep revenue flowing to these restaurants so that they could then keep money flowing to their vendors, pay their employees, pay their staff, keep their businesses running to the best extent possible. Secondly, many of us were at home living a life very different than anything we had done before. Working from home remotely, some of us homeschooling our children, or you were already deemed essential and you were in your workplace doing everything that you could do with the added stress as we continued to learn more and more about COVID. Whichever scenario you were in, it was extremely stressful. So we told individuals and our businesses through all this, give yourself a break. Call your favorite local restaurant, try a brand new restaurant you've not tried before. get takeout, have delivery done, ease the tension a little bit in your home or in your workplace. We could make those recommendations because we knew our restaurants had the guidance from Tammy and our Restaurant and Tavern Association, and they could do that for you safely. When the Chamber wanted to create a Facebook group to promote the takeout and delivery options, who partnered with us? Yep, the Restaurant and Tavern Association and Tammy Timmerman. She did her part and so much more. She could have easily simply forwarded on state regulations as they came into her so that she could get them to her members, but that's not the way Tammy operates. She was on the phone to Albany, the county office building, her state association, and anyone else who could expedite answers for our local restaurants. Did she help her members? You bet she did. But she also worked to get information out to any local food establishment that needed her help. For all of these reasons, the Molina Nonprofit Award for 2020 goes to the Cortland County Restaurant and Tavern Association. And now you'll get to hear from Tammy Timmerman. Tammy, congratulations.
I would like to thank Molina for sponsoring this award. To say I'm shocked and surprised is an understatement. It's been a pleasure to work with the other leaders in Cortland County this past summer and spring with the pandemic and all of the guidelines and regulations that all of the businesses have had to abide by. So to be recognized for our association on this award from the Chamber of Commerce is very special to me. I would like to thank all of the member restaurants, all of our taverns and restaurants in Cortland, and I would really like to thank the entire Cortland community for your undying support of the businesses and the restaurants, especially with supporting them with To Go all summer long. And hopefully we can continue supporting our restaurants and our taverns in the upcoming winter months. We hope that everybody stays safe, and once again, I really would like to say thank you to everybody for their support of Cortland County.
Thank you, Tammy, for all that you've done. And now we're going to move on to a relatively new award. This is what we title our Up-and-Coming Millennial Award. Although millennials are now getting farther into the workforce, we know that this eventually will be changed to a Young Professionals Award. We're in the 7th year of this award. It's designed to recognize a person of the millennial generation for the great work that they have already done in their careers, and of course to let them know we have extremely high expectations of them for years to come. Our winner is a Cortland High School graduate, began her local volunteering when she was still in grade school. She worked with the 1890 House, helping with events, tours, cleaning, anything else that needed doing, she was there. Her volunteering continued when she went off to college, but now occupied her time when she came home on breaks. After getting her master's degree, she once again continued home and now worked with AmeriCorps and the Seven Valley Health Coalition to improve local food resources for low-income families in our area. She wrote and received a grant to provide cooking classes to showcase how do you use local foods, healthy foods, cook them for low individuals. She's also responsible for the revitalization of the Cortland County Hunger Coalition, aiming to address local and sustainable solutions to fight hunger locally. She volunteered to create a blog to fight hunger, participated in the Emotionally Disturbed Persons Response Team, the Military Innovative Readiness Training, and educated our elementary students through Mighty Moeller. And I'm smiling because if you've ever seen Mighty Moeller, she might have been in there. And never stopped volunteering at the 1890 House. As her time with AmeriCorps ended, she was hired by the 1890 House, but continued to give many more hours than they could ever pay her for. Her passion stands out when you have a conversation with her about any of the causes she advocates for. She's represented many of those causes while attending chamber events, and so that in that way has introduced herself and those causes to many of our local business leaders. Her nominator wrote, "Her tenacity, capacity for learning, and willingness to take on any task exemplify the qualities of an up-and-coming, successful young professional. Her leadership skills have helped the 1890 House Museum grow and be further recognized in the community as the historic landmark that it is. And finally, from her nominator, she goes above and beyond to advance and improve her workplace and community with hard work, dedication, enthusiasm, and always with kindness, compassion, and a smile. She's recently left the museum, but only because she's going back overseas to pursue her doctorate degree. I've already instructed her. Not only do we expect great things from her in the future, but we'll have a place for her in Cortland, and we will welcome her home. Go into the world, gain your wonderful experiences, then come back to us. The Chamber of Commerce is proud to present the 2020 Up-and-Coming Millennial Award to Rosalie Hopko. Rosalie, congratulations.
Hi everyone. I'm extremely honored to be winning the Up-and-Coming Millennial Award. I know that the Cortland community has a lot of talented young professionals, and I'm grateful and humbled to stand out in such a capable group. I would like to thank the Cortland County Chamber of Commerce for the recognition of my hard work and dedication. Thank you as well to the 1890 House Museum Board of Trustees for seeing my potential and offering me a job at the museum that I love. Thank you to David Lane, our museum's executive director. He's a wonderful friend and mentor, and it's been a great privilege to work with him and learn from him. He's helped to teach me the value of hard work and to always strive to exceed expectations. And a big thanks to my family and fiancé for supporting me through the crazy hours and for providing me with the foundation to put my best foot forward in service to the Cortland community. I've been a lifelong member of the Cortland community, and I've had a lifelong commitment to the 1890 House Museum. I'm happy and proud to have made an impact as a young professional in my own hometown. I look forward to continuing to grow as a young professional throughout the completion of my doctorate and beyond, and with the support of my family, friends, and colleagues. I'd like to conclude by encouraging all of you to visit our beautiful museum. This is an unprecedented time for our local establishments, but we're still open here for small tours and socially distanced events. We're also accepting new memberships year-round, so when we can, let's get out there and support each other however we can. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you again. Stay healthy and stay safe.
Thank you, Rosalie, for all that you've done and for all that you will do as you continue your fine career. And now, on to our Community Service Award. Kathy Cotterill was the definition of community service. While we miss her, we continue to honor her each year by presenting this award in her name. The winner's name will join Kathy's in each winner since 2005 on our plaque, which hangs in our boardroom at 37 Church Street and will move with us when we go to our new location on Main Street. Most of you have been here before and know I love researching the information about our winners and including a quote or two about them in my description. I have the pleasure of working closely with this year's winner on multiple projects, and I've known our winner for many, many years, but even I was pleasantly surprised by the volume of involvement she has in our community. Instead of listing the dozen or so agencies she's assisted in her personal time, let me read from what our nominator wrote because I can't say it better myself. And while our winner is in the business of helping our community, it's easy to see she's gone well above and beyond what was ever expected of her in her position. Here's how she handled local need during our pandemic. In between state and local briefings, she persuaded everyone to come together in a coordinated response. It is her generosity of spirit and compassion for her fellow human beings that inspires others to join together for the common good. Her calm demeanor, humble leadership, and unique ability to empathize with those in need means when she asks you to lend a helping hand, it is impossible to say no. She not only supported area food pantries, but showed up twice a week to unpack trucks and then prepare and deliver boxes of food for those in need. She was there, rain, snow, or shine, at multiple food, dairy, and baby supply distributors. She even ensured area children had access to free toys, crafts, and recreational equipment when their families came for food boxes. She was able to fundraise, provide twice weekly radio updates to the community, and stay in touch with over a dozen nonprofits to make sure they had what they needed in order to operate. In all, over 35 chamber members either collaborated with or benefited from the initiatives that she was involved with during the pandemic and the fundraising. When the Cortland Community Foundation and the United Way partnered for the Cortland Cares Fund, the foundation provided a matching grant of up to $25,000. Our winner's fundraising efforts not only raised that $25,000, but she exceeded that goal and raised another $25,000. The fundraising match kicked in, creating a pot of $75,000. She acknowledged each gift personally and coordinated 10 rounds of grants to 17 local nonprofit agencies who were able to benefit by that. She's responsible for enriching the lives of countless individuals, children, and families, particularly those who are more vulnerable or less apt to care for themselves than we are. She truly understands that we are all part of a larger community and just one turn away from everything changing. Her leadership and dedication to the Cortland community is both inspirational and incomparable. She is most deserving of the Kathy Cotterill Chamber of Commerce Community Service Award. Our nominator stated nicely, one woman in the center of it all. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 Kathy Cotterill Community Service Award is presented to Christella Yanta. Congratulations, Christella.
I'm truly honored to be the recipient of the Kathy Cotterill Community Service Award. I had the great pleasure of having a training and a few volunteer recruitment opportunities with Kathy Cotterill. I know she was a great go-getter in the community and a lot of fun. I always try to do things under the radar, so I see that I was very successful this year in accomplishing that and going unnoticed. I'm really appreciative of the recognition and the nomination that I received. The work that we do here at United Way focuses on just trying to meet people wherever they're at, trying to help people at times that they need it. And the work that we do in our office is not just done by myself alone. Elizabeth and I do a great teamwork job trying to get out in the community. So to take the recognition for a lot of the work that we did for COVID, this is a time when a lot of people really need it. A lot of times with our campaign, we let people know you never know when you're going to be in the position to need the help or support. And people reached out and said, hey, I don't need this year. What can I do to help somebody else? And the work we were able to do with food drives, helping our dairy farmers when they were dumping milk, trying to reach out to community people that were shut in and needed food deliveries, just trying to step up and meet people with whatever they needed at the time they needed it. That was the focus of the volunteer work that we were able to do, and I'm grateful to be recognized and a recipient of this award. Thank you.
Thank you, Christella, for all that you've done and all that I know you will continue to do for our entire community. Now, how do you follow that up, the wonderful work being done by individuals, nonprofits, and our members? Well, you bring in one of the very brightest spots in the Cortland community for many, many years. You've seen our theme for the night, An Evening with Dan McNeal. Dan agreed to sit down with me and talk about Cortland, business, family, and swimming. We all have a lot we can learn from him. Here he is, World War II veteran, the owner and founder of McNeal Music Stores, the owner and founder of McNeal Development, husband, father, swimmer, all-around great guy, Mr. Dan McNeal. Well, this is an opportunity that I've been waiting for a while. And Dan, I appreciate you sitting down with me. You and I have had a chance over the years to do this one-on-one. And we have so many people in our chamber membership and in our community that would love to hear a few words from you. And that's why I've twisted your arm, and I appreciate you taking this time with me to share with us.
You're welcome.
So I want to start from the beginning. So I want to hear about your first job in Cortland, how you got started here. Talk about that.
Well, my first job was working after school nights in a dress shop called Wise Dress Shop. It was in this block. I do not own that building. We skipped that one. But I was paid 35 cents an hour, and kids were scrambling to get the jobs. My first real job before the war was at Brewer Tichenor. I was handling steel and war production. There was a lag because I graduated from high school when I was 17 years old, so there was a lag there.
So your first job, right down the block from the building we're now sitting in.
Yes.
Mopping floors, sweeping floors.
Yeah, after school nights, yeah.
35 cents an hour.
The labor laws weren't as strict in those days.
So tell me, how does a young man in high school go from mopping floors to now being the founder of McNeal Development and owning 56 plus properties?
Actually, I think most of the time being at the right place at the right time to make a purchase and be able to develop the properties. I'm very humble about it. I think luck plays a big factor.
I think maybe you're being too humble about it. I don't think there's been any luck involved, maybe once or twice, but you've obviously had a good eye to do what you do.
You do have to be fortunate, though, because timing is very, very critical in the commercial real estate business. And sometimes you get a second chance, but usually not. You have to be there, right place, right time.
Well, I'll just say, and I'm going to say this from my personal standpoint, but I think that this would be agreed upon by our chamber membership too. Whenever we hear of a property that's acquired by McNeal Development, it makes me smile inside and outside because we know good things are going to happen.
Thank you.
We appreciate all that you've done for our community over the years, which leads me to ask this question. So communities across the country would line up to have a developer like you build up their community. Why Cortland?
On a bit of a personal note, my brother John and myself graduated from college in 1951. And my father was ill at the time, so we felt obviously we had to take care of him. In those days, there weren't nursing homes that I remember and so on. So we were very fortunate. We had a friend of the family help with Dad. And we really actually decided we'd stay in Cortland. We were both professional musicians, so we opened McNeal Music. And the rest is sort of history. We ended up with a store, and we bought the Lent Music Company in 1966 in Ithaca, and we opened a Binghamton store, and they were all quite successful. So we were something that was personal, motivated us, and fortunately we were doing quite well.
Can you tell me about going from being instrumental in the local music industry to founding McNeal Development? How did that take place?
Well, actually, we bought the first building in 1958, and it was a pretty brave move. It was a $100,000 building, which at that time was quite a sizable purchase. And like most young businesses, we didn't have a ton of money to do it. But that got us in it. We bought, that was 1721 Main, and then we bought the next building to it 10 years later. And that kind of drifted into the commercial real estate business. The thing actually that we were fortunate is that our timing was quite good in that respect, because the buildings actually appreciated in value, and that helped us, of course, with cash flow and made things a little easier. And the rest of it really took place after my brother and I decided we'd get out of the retail music business, and he ended up going with Yamaha International. He was a concert pianist, did very, very well, and unfortunately died 2 days after he retired at 70 years old. So we were very fortunate. We, through, I guess, a lot of help with my wife, Rose, who I miss terribly, who was very frugal, very good business person, never interfered with what I did. I always told her before I closed the deal what we did. But because of her good cash management, so to speak, we educated 6 children, and no one had a student loan. So she and I were quite proud of that.
And you should be. So you've kind of gone into an area that I wanted to talk about, and that was at least one of your children, because you brought David into the business with you. To talk about that decision and what that means to work daily with your son.
Well, he graduated from Cornell, and at that time you're a Cornellian, so you know the story. There are a lot of good jobs involved. He had a good education. And we decided that if the buildings would support 2 of us, that he'd come in and give it a try. And it worked out. He's done quite well. And actually, because of his presence, we were able to grow. It would have been totally impossible without him, because I couldn't do it alone. He was very, very involved in the McNeal Insurance Company campus project, which involved 8 buildings, 80,000 feet, and a good sum of money. And David was instrumental in doing that. So he is happy he came with the company. It's worked out well, and hopefully he'll succeed.
I think he's succeeding very well. In fact, Kevin's in business with you now.
Yes, he may join us. He got out of Clarkson about 2 years ago.
Okay.
He's been involved in the construction aspect more than the management, and hopefully he'll find a place in the management team sometime.
And of course, for those that don't know, Kevin, your grandson, David's son, and I know that you're both very proud of the work he's doing too.
Yes.
So, did you ever dream that you'd be where you are today, 3 generations, the business the size that it is?
Not really. We took one step at a time. I, as a commercial developer, am quite conservative. I tried to build a solid base. Because I've been in business so many years, we own a lot of properties without mortgages, which of course improves the cash flow greatly. But I am very humble about it. I think I've been very fortunate. People give developers more credit than many of them deserve, because it still gets back to a luck factor. You do have to have good luck. And other things in life, of course, the same thing. It can be bad or good. We've been fortunate. I think the most fortunate thing in my case is I've been lucky to have good health. That, as we both agree, is your most valuable asset, of course.
Dan, your humility stands out well, and it shines on you. I will tell you, a definition of leadership that I abide by is that leaders will accept the blame and will share the credit. and you are showing that to all of us just in your daily actions.
Thank you.
Let me ask you back to your business standpoint, and maybe you've touched on this, but gutsiest business move you've ever made?
Quite likely 1958, buying that building for that large sum of money. Because things today, $100,000 doesn't sound like very much, but back in those days it was quite a sum of money. And we built a very strong company in New York State in the piano aspect of it. We were outside of New York City. We were the biggest volume dealers. And my brother deserves a lot of credit because he was an excellent musician and, of course, had quite a lot of prominence that brought business to our store.
Well, Dan, I want to say that we've got, a very large people of volume that are watching this in the evening. Every age, every one of our business categories are here watching. A lot of young entrepreneurs are watching. I'm interested in the advice you would give to a young entrepreneur today who is trying to build a business.
I think actually you have to be very, very, very skilled in what you go into. If you choose McNeal Insurance is a good example of that. They're niche marketers nationally, and they're very, very big. But to start out today and actually develop something quite rapidly is almost impossible. You have to be extremely patient. And financing is difficult. The banks are restricted in who they can loan money to and size of loan and so on. So I don't know, in all honesty, we could do my brother and I could do today what we did. I think it's difficult. I wish everyone well that wants to try it, but be aware it's not easy.
Well, you're an inspiration to many. And I got to think when you were doing it back in those days, there were probably people then who thought you couldn't do it too.
I'm very sure.
Yeah. So let me take you back a little bit in time. Let's say, instead of me sitting in this chair, it's the 18-year-old Dan McNeal. You're out of high school, you're working, you're about to go represent us in World War II. You have a long career ahead of you. What would you say to that 18-year-old Dan McNeal?
It's a hard question to answer. I think the most difficult thing is being very patient. All days aren't going to be great, all years aren't going to be great. It's difficult to make a decent living as an individual businessman today. So I believe, as I stated, that I'm not so sure in today's economy, with hard work and so on, we could do it. But I think one of the things that I value terribly with a young person, 18 years old, is focus and drive. Unfortunately, some of the kids today, they're probably better educated than my generation. They're very highly skilled in technical skills and so on. But unfortunately, many of them seem to be drifting. They can't really focus. And in fairness to them, I guess it really is confusing to want to grab hold and run with today. I think that's the advice I would give an 18-year-old, that it is difficult, but make your decision early when you get out of college and go for it.
Okay, now you've reminded me of a decision that you made as a young man. So you've shared this story with me before. I want you to share it with our audience, and that was when World War II ended and you were still in Europe and you were given an opportunity. Can you share that story?
Oh yes, I treasure that story. It's kind of humorous. I was served with General Patton with the Third Army in World War II. The war ended. I ended up close to the Czechoslovakian border. Many people feel because Patton got killed in Berlin after the war, that's where he was. But he wasn't. He ended up very close to the Czech border. I was then ordered to go to the Philippines because the war was still going on in Japan. Back to the luck factor again. I ended up in Marseille, France, before I got on the ship. The war in Japan ended. So they're back again, the luck factor. I was ordered to go back to Germany, and I was running a quartermaster depot in Bamberg, Germany. And came February of 46, and I was eligible to get out of the service. And a gentleman named Colonel Bush, he was from Buffalo, New York, came down and he said, I really would like to have you re-up and stay here. He said, you're doing a good job. He said, I'm going to offer you $7,200 a year. Today that doesn't sound like much. He said, you can stay as a warrant officer, you can stay as a civil service worker, 39 years old, you can retire. He said, I want you to sleep on it. I said, Colonel, I've had enough war. I didn't get hurt. I want to go home. So I came home, went to college, went to Lemoyne College in Syracuse, and the first job I was offered was $5,200. So the colonel obviously knew what he was talking about. They always say, were you sorry you didn't take it? No, I've married a wonderful person, got 6 good kids, but it was interesting.
Well, and that's a perfect lead-in, Dan. So you had a wonderful wife with Rose. You've already spoken about her, what a great woman she was. Talk to me about your partnership with Rose, 6 kids. You now have grandkids and great-grandkids.
We had a nice relationship. She was born and raised in Cortland. I never knew her before the war, met after the war. And we were married in 1954. And we were married 64 years when she passed on a couple of years ago. And the wonderful thing, we had a very good relationship, a loving relationship. But I think what helped me a great deal, she was always supportive of what I was trying to do and would make any kind of a sacrifice to help me. I'm quite happy that she never had to work. I was able to support my wife and children, which today is almost impossible. Most women have to work. Did we sacrifice a lot of things? Of course we did. But we were happy we could get our kids through school. And to be very honest with you, I give her full credit for it. If you have someone at home that doesn't know how to manage the family, no matter how much money you make, you probably won't be able to keep up with it. So I didn't have that kind of pressure because of her.
Anything more you want to say about your children? I know you have 6 children, and locally we're well aware of your 3 kids that are right here.
I've had very good luck. They've been good people. I fortunately brought up in the 60s. They didn't get into the drug program and so on. And I'm very thankful for that. We have one boy in California who's retired because he in Davis in California, the extension program, spent most of his time in Columbia at New York University. I had another daughter who was in state government, and she's retired. She's in Albany, and her son Peter was a commercial real estate broker in Boca Raton, Florida. So we have the 3 in Cortland, which we're pretty blessed with that, very happy with. And they have been very good. My wife always thought a lot of other people, and the kids are good in that respect. I think they're very charitable. So I think I'm more proud of that than their success.
And it's been wonderful. And locally, working with Dan and Dave and Mary, they've been great supporters of us, and we can see how they're great supporters of the community. And I know what makes all of them proud is the employees that they currently work with. I know that all of them are very proud of that, and I'm sure they're getting that from you and from Rose. So, but this is interesting. You just told me about 2 of your children who are retired. It's got to be a little difficult to call up your dad and say, "Dad, I'm going to retire," when Dad is working every single day. And I almost wish David were here to share this, because David said to me one day, Dad being here in the business still is not just something for Dad to do. He comes to work and solves problems every day. So that alone is another inspiration. But tell me, you're still going. You've got children. You're going to have grandchildren retiring before you retire, Dan. And
Good ever.
so what drives you? Why are you still going? What do you feel when you get up in the morning and say, "I'm going back to development today"?
I think, to be very honest with you, business is probably my hobby. As you know, I've done a lot of swimming. I coach a master's team. I've competed nationally, internationally in the pool, which I took up at 45 years old. Toughest thing I ever done. I mean, it was a difficult sport to learn. And I've enjoyed that I guess that could be regarded as a hobby, but my primary activity is the business. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy meeting people. I think the most difficult thing in this epidemic we're going through right now is people my age become isolated. Social aspect of your life, when you think about it, is a very, very important thing. And because I have straight active, and fortunately my health has allowed me to do it, I've been able to go on that social contact with people. And I think it's helped me survive. I don't have really any other hobby. Main hobby's the business, I guess.
Well, and you mentioned swimming, and so I need to share a story that was shared with me right after we made the announcement that you were going to sit for this interview as part of our awards night. I had a member call me, and he said, "I need to tell you, our morning Rotary group," I call them the crazy morning Rotarians, right? You know who they are. Ahead of a 7 a.m. breakfast meeting, they will play hockey, they will go running, but they also spent some time swimming. And so this gentleman said to me, "I need to share with you, I will forever have a warm feeling in my heart because Dan opened up the wick wire pool on a Wednesday morning and helped us with swim lessons."
Oh, I remember Mr. Poley, I believe.
Yes, it was.
That's been fun, and this might seem like a kind of a emotional reaction that may not be valid, but I truly get as much pleasure out of teaching somebody to swim and seeing them win masters meets and so on as I do myself. It's a very interesting, introspective thing, but I enjoy it. And that group, I feel I played a small part in it because they're triathletes, all those fellows, and they're good. But it's kept them going. And that summer, I was 4 or 5 years ago, I guess, it was before they rebuilt Wickwire Pool. And we used to swim the perimeter of it, the distance, rather than the short course. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, and I still remember 10 years ago, you came to our chamber dinner and we honored you with a community service award. And at that time, you'll have to remind me, we talked about you were competing nationally at swim meets.
Yes.
Can you share, how old were you when you still competed at swim meets?
I think I took it through, I believe I was 85. And training on that level is tough. To swim that level, you have to overtrain all the time. And it's also relatively expensive because the big meets, the national meets are in big cities, Montreal, Toronto, Seattle. And interestingly enough, you well know it, with the chamber, the pricing of hotels and plane fares grew quite a bit during my 30 years in the pool. So I finally decided to wrap it up. But I think it was about 85. They have people competing though at 100 years old today nationally. So it's an interesting sport because it really doesn't hurt your legs and your body as badly as running and even speed walking. So you can keep it going for many years. Yeah.
So I'll wrap this up, Dan. But anything else you'd like to say to the membership, to the community?
Yes, we have a great community, and I'm hoping that after the COVID thing is over, that we get going again, have some forward motion. I sense a future in our community here that we will be much stronger economically when things get done with than we have ever been. So I portend a good future for our community.
Well, thank you, Dan. This has been a pleasure. I am going to cherish these few minutes for a long, long time, and I'd love to get a ticket to be in the room for your next birthday bash. I think that will be a lot of fun for many of us.
Yeah. I just buried a classmate of mine from Lemoyne. He was 100, and we were lifelong friends. He was in Elmira, New York. And sadly to say, I believe the reason that he passed on was he was isolated and people couldn't visit him. It's back to the social aspect of our life. Yeah. Well, thanks for inviting me, and I enjoyed it.
Oh, I loved doing it. I'll cherish it for a long time. Thank you again. Thank you once again, Dan. That concludes our program for the evening. Board of Directors, Chamber staff, and most of all, our 516 members who keep our local economy rolling, providing goods and services for our community. Thank you all for being with us. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, and I hope we're able to see you all in person very soon. Good evening.